I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I was basically, my central nervous system shut down. So, from like the drug use. And so I was unconscious for 2 weeks. Basically, but I wasn't in a coma. I was just hallucinating, but I just wasn't moving. And my mom came by, she took pictures of me, showed me that, and like when I woke up and I saw myself in that position and I could barely walk because I was in a hospital bed for 2 weeks. I like, I took a shower and I was like, look, whatever happened happened. You're not going out this way. Like, I'm not going out. I have too much to live for. I have too much pride. Like, I will not go out this way. I kind of like to keep my story discreet. Even close members of my family don't know. Close friends, they don't know. It's something that my experience isn't something that I'm proud of, but I embrace it. And as I'm starting to embrace it and I continue, I'm starting to open up more about it. It honestly started about around 23 years old. I'm 27 now. It started about to be 23 when I went away to school. We would drink, we would do drugs, and I thought, it was just it's a college thing. Everyone goes to college, everyone does this. So, I got introduced to alcohol, and then I got introduced to Xanax, which was my DOC, and it was basically like a hangover cure. You'd go out, you drink, you wake up the next morning, you take one, you eat something greasy, you take a nap, and you wake up and you're ready to go again. So that's basically where it started. And at the time when I was doing it, I thought it was all in the love of the game. I was having fun. I was having fun doing it. And in my head, I'm like, when I graduate, I'm gonna quit drugs. I'm not gonna do this when I graduate. Like, I know that. And then graduation came, and came and went, and I was still taking Xanax at the time. Well, still taking Xanax. And then my buddy, well, he's not my buddy. It was someone that I knew. He introduced me to opioids, to Percocets, that basically a painkiller. He told me, I knew at that point I was struggling from the Xanax addiction, so I didn't want to get a second one. I didn't want to get a second drug under my belt. And the first time I went over his house, he crushed it up for me, had it laid out. He actually gave me the bill to even do it, and I said no. And then I went back over his house twice, 2 more times after that, so a total of 3. And he did the same thing all 3 times. And he's like, look, I promise you, you won't get addicted. He's like, just try it. Like, I took it, and look at me, I'm fine. So I gave in to peer pressure, and I tried it, and I was instantly hooked. And besides for this video, whoever sees this, when someone tells you like you could do it once and you can be fine, I'm a living story of you can do it once and you will depend on that until you can have until you're able to come off of it. Because you can go to rehab, you can go to detox, you can go to the hospital, but until you're done with it inside, it's always gonna come back. I took about 20 to 30 pills, 30 milligrams every day. So a total of 900 milligrams per day. I did that for 2 years, well, about a year and a half. And as I was doing it one day, I was crushing it up, and something hit me. And I said, you're enjoying your time now, but you're gonna end up in rehab. Because I remember I was in a summer house, I was going out, I was drinking, I was doing other drugs, and I was also doing that. And I was like, I know I was in over my head. I knew I was in over my head, but instead of stopping, I just continued to do it because, to be honest, I like the feeling of it. I like the feeling of it, but after that, the feeling gets old, and the consequences that follow with it are not worth it. When you're on them, you think You think people are judging you. You get mad at little things. Something that could have nothing going on, you'll think of something. Or you'll think a friend is saying something bad about you and they're not even talking about you. You'll you'll fall asleep standing up. I've fallen asleep standing up. I've crashed my car being high off of that. Um, and then coming after that for your second part of your question, at first detoxing, I'm sure everyone has said it, you know, it's not fun. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. But after that, it took me about, I want to say, a full month to recover completely, where I had energy to get out of bed again, because at a particular time in my life, I needed to I needed to do my DOC to get out of bed. So I had energy and I was able to go back, and then I just started. You start slowly, like they say, go day by day, and that's exactly what it was. And as day by day went, life just got better. I mean, it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easy being sober. It doesn't. Your problems aren't gonna go away. But you know, right now, like today, I'm sitting here. I'm more coherent. I understand what's going on. I know what I need to do. I know that I can easily relapse again. I know that this is no joke. Um, so I just feel like as each day goes by and I continue to get those under my belt, it just becomes greater. It's just a good feeling. I've had family problems. My parents aren't together. Um, that's no excuse for me to do drugs though. You know, growing up, having to deal. I live with my mom, then I live with my dad. They've got involved, and but that's still, like, you know, I'm a man. It was my choice to do that, but I really kind of wanted to just numb like the feeling of stuff. And like when I would come home from work, I would just look at it as like something to do. Like I can reward myself. I worked 8 hours today. Let me go home and get high, and let me just escape real life and not have to face it and not face it. And I feel like that's basically, I was just numbing the pain. And then once that numbing went away, the pain really hit. And then that's when, you know, you got to face your problems like a man or a woman. You just got to face them, and whatever happens, everything happens for a reason. At first, I didn't want to believe that I suffered from the disease of addiction. I didn't want to come to terms with it. I thought that, you know, I was mentally strong enough to able to overcome it. But like earlier, when it came down to me having to use it to get out of bed and everything like that, and like I tried to quit on my own, and I would only last like 2 to 3 days, and I would go right back to my dealer, and I knew I needed professional help when that was the case. I wanted to quit because I knew what would eventually come if I continued going down the road I was on. But every time I tried to quit and go down that road, I always steered left or right and went back to my old ways. Like I tried, but it was just my addiction that my body, I don't know, mentally, physically, it needed it. So I had to supply it. Everything takes time. Nothing happens overnight. Um, I never thought I would have 5 days clean, and I'm here 6 months now. So that's what I mean by being patient. Like, because each day when you wake up, it's not gonna be, you know, sunny and clear. You're gonna have dark days where you don't want to get out of bed. I still suffer from that. You think it's gonna be easy? You think it's gonna be hard? It's gonna be everything. It's gonna be both, and there's gonna be ups. There's gonna be downs. That's why I said patience. And over time, we say take it day by day, and that's why patience for me. And with me waking up in the middle of the night throwing up, not feeling good, I could have easily made a phone call, but I wanted to quit, and I was like, I had enough of it, and I had the patience and I had the willingness, and I made the adjustments in my life that I had to do to stay sober. It's hard because the thing is, you grow up with these people, and like they don't suffer from the disease of addiction, so they don't understand. So a lot of people become judgmental, and the stigma that comes to it. This guy's a drug addict. He's no good. He's an opioid user. He's a pillhead. He's this. He's that. You know, they call us so many of these things that's why I try to keep my story in, because I don't like the stigma that comes with addiction. And basically, at that point, you just gotta learn to like accept it. Like, I didn't want to be here today. I mean, I wanted to be here today, but I didn't want to suffer. I didn't want to believe I had the disease. I didn't. No, I honestly didn't even know what an addict was until I came to rehab. I didn't know about the 12 steps. This is my first rehab. I didn't know about any of it. And then as you introduce yourself, I introduced, my name is Peter De Palma. I'm an addict. And I'm like, at first I'm like, what? Like, what am I saying to myself? Like, why am I putting my self-esteem down by doing this? But then patience, and day by day, and you start to realize that this is, I like to say, we're not here to play checkers. I mean, it's a chess game. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. It crushed my self-esteem. I'm like, I'm not an addict. Like, I'm better than those guys. There's no way I'm an addict. Like, I tripped. I went down the wrong path. But, at the end of the day, I embrace it now because I've learned a lot, and the stigma of what people can say what they want at the end of the day, as long as I'm happy, I love myself, as long as I'm doing okay, I can care less what anyone has to say, like, that I suffer from addiction. Like, it is what it is. I didn't ask for this. It was something that I was dealt, and I'm gonna make the best of it. And the thing is, I just wanna, like, sit here because, like, when I would hear other people say that when I was in treatment, I would be like, like BS, like, this is bullshit. Sorry for the language. Like, this guy's not telling the truth. Like, there's no way this gets better. This isn't, like, I can't believe that I'm sitting here saying that it does. I can't express enough how much the staff, Miss Andrea, everyone else that works here, how much that they were still there for me during that time. And even though they were closed for COVID, they would still text me back, call me, whatever it was, they were there for me. What I learned here, and the tools and everything that I gained from the counselors, the techs, from everyone that worked here, that's the reason why I became sober. It was everything that I learned from here and what I had to do. Because I'm sure you interviewed the staff that works here. They give us the tools, they give us everything, and that's something that is in my mind for the rest of my life. So the tools that I learned from here are the reason why I'm sober today.